Well, hey there, welcome back to my channel. So excited that you're here with me today for another video. If you are new here, my name is Brooke. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 boys, a small business owner, and a military wife. And so I share lots of different things here on my YouTube channel, primarily with all of it being homeschool focused, but because my small business is also creating planners and journals and tools to help women grow in their walk with God, I do talk a lot about time management and my faith as well. And you've just seen a lot of content over the last couple of weeks in regards to our military move, because that has just been what our life has been like over the last couple of months. It has been a whirlwind of a year, and I feel like I'm finally, like the dust is settling and I'm able to relax a little bit. And now we're getting ready to start our new homeschool year. So I am starting the year later than I actually ever have since becoming a homeschool mom. I've been homeschooling. This will be my 5th year. So my oldest son, Brian, we started homeschooling him in 1st grade. He went to kindergarten in public school, and I also did 2 years of preschool. Never had any issues with school. Things were great, but I just always felt the pull and the call from the Lord to homeschool. And so finally I got the guts and I decided to go for it in 2021. And it was the best decision that I have ever made, with the support of my husband. And it's just been such a great experience. There's been lots of highs, lots of lows. You can look back through my channel. I think I started sharing in year 3, I want to say. But I have shared lots of ups and downs. I was actually just talking on Instagram with a few ladies because I had come across a post where she talked about how she was considering quitting homeschool. And I said, I actually have a video and a podcast episode that talks about when I almost quit homeschool and the process that I walked through and why I didn't. I would love to send it to you. And she said, yes, absolutely. Well, then I got a plethora of messages from other moms who were also having that struggle. So I was happy to get to send that to them because I've been sharing things. So I am somebody who shares all of the ins and outs. I don't hide anything. I don't try to paint this picture of this highlight reel. Like, I am a human just like you. I am a homeschool mom and I am a business owner, and there are struggles in that and it can be difficult, but I'm here to bring light to the fact that you can do both and you can do both really well. And I hope that I can encourage you in that through you seeing how I do it. So that is what you can look forward to here on this channel. It's a very long introduction. But I'm very excited today to be diving back into the homeschool realm of YouTube videos because it's been a couple of months since I recorded my last one. So the last homeschool videos I recorded were back in June. It's currently September 12th at the time I'm recording this. And we were just about to start shipping all of our stuff to Hawaii. So our military family, we were moving from Savannah, Georgia here to Honolulu, Hawaii. And I filmed all of our content for what it is that we're going to actually be using in our homeschool for our family basket and morning time to my 5th grader, 3rd grader, and 1st grader. So if you're looking for what we're using and kind of that kind of thing, then that's going to be in those videos. So make sure that you look back at my channel and find those. Today's video is one that is always a top video of the year for me that I share each year, which is our homeschool routine and our schedule for this school year. How I plan ahead for the school year, how I plan my weeks as a working homeschool mom, and all of the charts and checklists that I have created for our boys, for myself, for my husband even, to keep life on track, to keep the house up to date with cleaning and all the things. I'm going to be sharing it here in this video, and I'm going to be showing you a little showcase of our new homeschool room. Spoiler alert, we don't have one. So I had a beautiful homeschool room at our last house, and I got so many compliments on it, and I loved it so very much. And I was hoping for the same here, but we are on a military base in military housing, and it just didn't work out for us to have that space. So we are going to be homeschooling at our dining room table, and I'm going to share a little bit of my plan for that. I'm actually excited to have a seat for myself to sit down as I homeschool the kids. If you've watched past videos, you've seen me kind of going side to side at the desks. And and we also lost our big map in the move. That was one of the things that the movers destroyed. So very sad to not have that, but we also didn't really have a place for it. So that's neither here nor there. I first want to start the video with showing you some of the checklists that I've created and kind of what my plan is for the year as far as schedule. Like, what does my schedule look like as a business owner and a homeschool mom who's primarily doing this by myself because my husband is at work from early in the morning until 5 or 6 at night. And so I am kind of figuring this out on my own. Not figuring it out on my own. I have a lot of support, but the bulk of the work is on myself. So I have printed, and I'm sure you are not surprised if you've been around for a while, a daily rhythm that I'm going to be using. This will be on our fridge. I actually have several that I'm going to be showing you several different things today. But this is our daily rhythm. So a little bit of our daily schedule, not a little bit, it's actually our full day. This is an ideal day. And I want to preface with that because I think a lot of times we set schedules. I know a lot of times we as moms set schedules with the best of intentions, and then things go south, and then we just throw the whole schedule away and we're like, well, that didn't work. That's why I don't do schedules. I'm never doing this, and blah, 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 blah. What this is a daily rhythm, a daily flow. So if I don't follow it hour by hour, I still have a flow of how I can do things. And yes, some of the things may have to get cut out because there's only so many hours in the day, but this is a goal. This is an idea of what our days could look like, and I desire them to look like. So for me, I am somebody who enjoys waking up before my kids so that I could have some time to, one, just get in God's word and just center myself on Him for the day before the noise of the world kind of starts. And so I wake up early at 5 a.m. I've been doing that throughout the summer. It's just something that I enjoy doing. I'm not a morning person, but I enjoy the peace that comes from that. And so over time, as I've become more consistent with that over the years, it is something that I now look forward to. But starting out, it was very difficult. I had to train myself to go to bed earlier so that I could wake up earlier. And I had to wake up and learn how to focus and things like that. So it wasn't an overnight process, but I created in me a morning person who now looks forward to the quiet mornings. Because when you're a working homeschool mom, there's constant noise all day long, and you're bouncing back and forth between all the tasks, and it could be overwhelming. So I like my quiet time. So from 5 to 6 a.m., I have some hot coffee that nobody spills, or I don't have to microwave 300 times, and quiet time in God's Word, journaling in my Finding Freedom journal, and spending time in prayer, which is also in the journal. So I just use that first hour of the day to really center my heart and my mind on the Lord so that He can fill me so that I can then go show up better for everybody else in my life. From 6 to 7 a.m., I'm doing kind of just busy work, things that need to get done through the day, but I can't necessarily do when the boys are awake, or I have another work block that I get to in the afternoons. But from 6 to 7 a.m., it's basically just like messages that I need to respond to, or content that I need to prep, or editing videos like this, just little work that doesn't take a lot because I'm not like fully awake. I've had a cup of coffee, but it's just things that, like, those little tasks that need to get done. I try to just knock those out so they don't linger throughout the day, and I don't feel like I have to hurry up and do them when I have my actual major work block of the day. So from 6 to 7 a.m., I just spend an hour doing the small tasks that I need to get done so that I could just check them off my list and call it good. Then at 7 a.m., health and wellness is a very important part of my life. It's something that has just transformed who I am as a person, because as I got healthy, I just became a happier version of myself. Add in Jesus, and it was a whole nother experience. So from 7 to 8 a.m., I plan to work out and get ready. I'm currently doing workouts through an app called Ladder right now. It's $179 for the year, but I'm loving the workouts, so I'm sure I'll have some future videos that come out for that. And I'll put a link down below. I think I have like a referral code where you can do a 7-day trial of the app. So I'll try to remember to put that down in the show notes for you so that you can check it out. But it's a 30-minute workout. So 7 a.m. I change, I get downstairs. So by 7:05, 7:10, I'm press and play on the workout. I usually have worship music playing, and I'm getting my day going, like physically. Now I'm waking up and I'm starting to, feel good. And then 7:30, I come upstairs. If the boys are not already awake, which I'll get into what they're doing at this time in just a sec. But 7:30, if they're not already awake, I'm waking them up. I know a lot of people want to encourage the fact that you can sleep in, and that's the beauty of homeschool, is they can sleep in and get all the sleep they want. But we also have to get things going, especially because I also have a job. So I need to get them up and get the day going so that we can start school on time for that day. So 7:30 is when I have them waking up, and they have a checklist that they're going to be working through, which I'll show you. I'm going to do all of the schedule first, and then I'll get into that checklist. So they have their own checklist, so they know as soon as they wake up, they know what they are supposed to be doing in that time. So if I'm working out or I'm showering, yes, they can come to me, of course, but they don't need to, because they know what they need to have done. So we can meet for breakfast at 8 a.m. So 8 to 9 a.m. is breakfast and Bible study with the boys. So we'll have breakfast together. We'll do our Bible study. That's usually about 30 minutes. And then we spend the last 30 minutes of that hour doing house chores. So I have a house chores checklist. I'll be sharing that as well. Every day of the week, we clean a different area of the house, and we do it together as a family. It makes it go a lot smoother because I'm right there with them, so there's not as much fighting, but also it makes it go quicker so that we can get more done in a shorter amount of time. So we have a 30-minute-ish window for us to do this, and it doesn't always work out perfectly, of course. The 30 minutes, we can get an entire room of the house cleaned top to bottom, and then we can move on with our day. So that's our goal. And then our start time for school is 9 a.m. That's the goal. And from 9 to 10 a.m., we're doing family subjects. So we've already done Bible. Ideally, they've already worked on their handwriting, which is part of their morning checklist. If they haven't, then they can do that in their downtime as they're waiting for me to answer questions and stuff. But our family subjects are history and science, and then we will do some more Bible study discussion if we need to. We do our memory verses at that point, those kinds of things that we didn't get to in our breakfast time. We would then just push into our actual hour time of our family units that we do together. For all of the family units and what we're using, again, you can go back to my videos from June, where I shared, June and July, I think, where I shared all of the curriculum and the tools that we're using for those subjects. So 9 to 10 is our family time, family subjects, and then 10 to 12 is when we're working on our core subjects, so math and reading and writing. I gave it 2 hours because we tend to have issues with distraction, so I know that there's going to be times where things take longer, there's going to be times where things go really quickly and we're done before 12, and that's awesome. But 10 to 12 is typically about what it takes to get those core subjects done. And that is math, reading, and writing. And then from 12 to 1, we have lunch, and we kind of just hang out. We don't really have much going on, so sometimes the boys will want to go outside if it's cool enough or whatever. Here, now that we're in Hawaii, we can go do that in the middle of the day and not feel like we're dying of heat stroke from the Georgia heat. So 12 to 1 is just kind of a hangout time, a decompress time. Sometimes I'll put on a YouTube video correlating to the science or the history lesson that we learned, and they could watch that and kind of we all just chill out for a little bit and rest and just breathe. And then at 1 o'clock, that is where the start of my work time comes in. So from 1 to 3 p.m., I have quiet playtime for the boys and my core focus time for the day. So as a small business owner, my goal in having my own business was never to work long, crazy hours. My goal was to have more time with my family. So 2 hours a day is plenty of time for me to get work done. I'm going to show you later in this video how I structure my work days so that I can only work 2 to 3 hours, an hour in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and how I make that work. Occasional weekends, but not a whole lot. And then during launch seasons, sometimes I work a little bit more there. But 1 to 3 p.m., the boys have 1 hour that they have to play separately. They can play quietly in their rooms, they can take a nap, they can read, but 1 hour of separation because they've been together for 5 hours now and they need some separation usually at that point. So it's 1 hour of quiet time and then an hour where they can play together, but they have to be quiet. It's not time where they can come and interrupt me because I'm usually recording or editing or thinking, and I don't have a lot of headspace where they can come in and interrupt. Now, obviously, if they need me for something that's an emergency, then I would let that they know they can come to me. But they know that 1 to 3 p.m., mom is working. We're going to do our best to not interrupt her because if we don't, then at 3, it's time for us to go outside and mom's going to come out with us and she's going to have fun and we're going to play. I could be, if they're playing with all their friends because their friends are home from school in the neighborhood, then they could be playing with their friends and I could be on the front porch just relaxing for a little bit, reading a book, resting as I am trying to learn how to do more of this year. And then 4:30, I start cooking dinner. About 5 or 5:30, we eat dinner. So we have dinner together. So from 4:30 to about 6 p.m. is just dinner time between prepping, cooking, and eating. And then 6 to 7:30 p.m. is our designated family time. And we're not doing any sports this year because we arrived in Hawaii past the date that the fall sports started. There's not really an opportunity for winter sports here because wrestling was the sport that we did, and we're not interested in the program here. And then in the spring, we may or may not be moving again. So that's a whole nother topic. But we aren't doing sports. We want to maximize our time here in Hawaii and see all the cool things. So from 6 o'clock on in the afternoon, we can go to the beach and do like a sunrise or a sunset, beach night, or we can go on a hike if we want to, or we can play basketball or football, or just hang out, game nights, hobby. We have a whole list of just things that we could do each night if we're not doing something outside of the house. So we have hobby night for Mondays, where on Monday nights we can just do something that we all like to do. It doesn't have to be together. Like my boys and Tim like to play music, so they could have music and mom can read. Tuesday nights I have Bible study, so we're calling that guys night. Wednesday nights is Bible study and worship together as a family. Thursdays is sports nights, and then Fridays are our family movie nights. And then Saturdays we'll do an adventure. Sundays we are resting and then resetting for the week. So that's kind of our plan for our theme nights. We're not holding them so tight. Those are just loose ideas, but that was kind of the idea, was to have some ideas of some different things that we can do as a family to maximize the family time that we finally have in our schedule here in Hawaii. And then at 7:30, the kids start getting ready for bed. So they go back to their checklist that they have and they start working through that checklist. And by 8 p.m., I'd like them to be in bed reading. They can read until 8:30, 9 o'clock. But I would like them to kind of be lights out around 8:30 because they are waking up at 7:30. And then that gives Tim and I, my husband, opportunity to just have mom and dad time where we get to have a discussion without interruption, and we get to watch a show if we want to watch a show, or sit on the front porch in the quiet if we want to sit on the front porch in the quiet. And we get to enjoy some mom and dad time. And then we also would be in bed by 9:30 because we have an early wake up the next day. So we try to prioritize 7 to 8 hours of sleep. So that is our schedule. It took a lot longer to explain that than I thought, but that is our daily schedule, our daily rhythm. Very helpful to just have an ideal day. And like I said, it may look different as time goes on. Something that I mentioned in all of that was the boys' daily checklists. So I had another version that I have had on my website for a long time. This is that version. You might have already downloaded it. This is still a great version. I just added different things to it. And because I'm putting this on my fridge, this is just silly me, I wanted everything to match. So this is going to be something that the boys have out. And I just wanted it all to match. Not that that didn't really match, but there's just a slight difference. So we have a before school routine, or like a morning routine, a school routine, and then a before bed routine for each of them. So their morning checklist: brush teeth, get dressed, make your bed, put away pajamas, and then their daily job. So their daily jobs, we are assigning them each day of the week a different job. So we picked 3 different things that they are going to be doing. The job titles are dishwasher, kitchen assistant, and maintenance crew. We wanted to give titles to them to give them a sense of like a role, a responsibility that they have to participate in the home outside of our normal chores. Like this is just what they get to do that day. So between those 3 jobs, we rotated them for 6 days of the week. There's only 5 days here because that's all I could fit. So Saturday or Sunday would be a flex day, but they would still be doing those jobs. So for instance, an example, Brian, my oldest, on Mondays is our dishwasher. My middle is our kitchen assistant, and my youngest is our maintenance crew. What does that entail, you ask? Dishwasher handles the dishes after all of the meals. Instead of everything being on mom all the time, we have a dishwasher who does the meals now, or the dishes after the meals. So that includes emptying the dishwasher in the morning. That includes breakfast dishes getting put into the dishwasher, lunch dishes getting put into the dishwasher, and then dinner, myself or my husband always help with that because there's usually more dishes. But that dishwasher is for the day. All of Monday, Brian would be the dishwasher. And then Tuesday, Luke is the dishwasher. And Wednesday, James is the dishwasher, and so on and so forth. The next job is kitchen assistant, so they're helping with making breakfast and lunch at the minimum, and then dinner is optional because at that point they're usually playing with friends and I didn't want to cut into that, but they're helping to cook. I think it's a good skill for kids to learn how to cook, so they each get time to help us cook, and they actually really love that. And then the last one is maintenance crew. That's the person who's emptying the trash at the end of every day and watering the grass in the morning. So we have no sprinkler system here, and that needed to be done. So now one of the boys will have that each week. So we'll be rotating through those each week. This will just stay on the fridge so that they can look at it and they know what their job is that day. So on their checklist, when it says morning checklist, daily job, all they have to do is go look at the list that's right next to it and say, okay, my job today is dishwasher, so I need to empty the dishwasher. My job is kitchen assistant, so I could start prepping breakfast. My job is maintenance, so I could start watering the lawn. And they have a job that they can jump into without having to come to mom and say, what do I do? I'm bored. I want to watch TV. I want to whatever. You have a routine. And then if they have extra time, I put that they can start Bible study on their own. They can spend time in prayer, or they can start their handwriting. So those are their options for what they can do if they've gone through their morning checklist, because maybe they woke up at 7 and they've gotten through it all in 30 minutes. If they have the next 30 minutes while I'm showering, I'm not available. So they have some options of what they can do. The homeschool routine checklist is just a list of the assignments or the subjects that they'll be working through each day. So Bible and prayer, history or science, handwriting, typing, math, language arts, and reading for 20 minutes. So every day that is an assignment that they'll have to complete. And then in the evening, their evening checklist is clean the bedroom, shower, brush their teeth, put on pajamas, put your dirty clothes in the hamper, read in bed for 15 to 20 minutes, evening prayers, lights out by 8:30, and then I put sweet dreams, which they thought was really funny. So that is their daily checklist. I have not decided if I want to put these on their door in their bedroom, or if I want to put them in their school boxes that we have, which I'll show you next. But these are their checklists, so they'll have a marker that they can mark these throughout the day, and then I laminated them so we could just dry erase it and stir fresh the next day. So very excited about those. I showed them to them yesterday, and they're my kids, so they're like, ooh, checklists, especially my oldest. So I thought that was really cute that they were excited to use it. And then the last thing I mentioned in the daily rhythm or the daily routine was my weekly cleaning schedule. So I did have another version of this. I actually lost my other version of this, but I changed it just a little bit to include more in-depth cleaning things each week, because I figured it would be, and this is my plan with this, is maybe I need to do a whole nother video on this, but I'm not going to every single week wipe the light switches and the door handles, but that is something that needs to get done in every room once a month or so, because I have boys that are dirty hands and gross sometimes. I'm not going to need to clean the windows every single week and the screens. I'm not going to need to clean out the trash cans, but those are things that need to get done. So what my plan is dust surfaces, tables, shelves, and decor, wipe down tables and counters, vacuum or sweep the floors, mop if needed, blah, blah, blah. That's daily stuff. But then there's other things that are that needs to get done this month. And so what I can do is once I do it, I can check it off and be like, okay, I cleaned the windows this month. We're good to go. So I did that for each day. So Sundays is our downstairs reset. We get everything kind of set up for the week, especially because that's where our homeschool is. And so I want that to be clean and tidy and just ready for a fresh start for a new week. Monday is bedrooms. Tuesday is bathrooms. Wednesday is my office space, and then our stairwell, and little hallway into the rooms, and our library, which I'm really excited to show you guys. Thursday is our monthly deep cleaning, so that's when we're cleaning baseboards, dusting the ceiling fans, washing windows, and again, we'll check those off and only have to do it once a month. So one or two things each Thursday. One might be cleaning baseboards and dusting ceiling fans, and that's what we do that Thursday, is just those two things throughout the whole house. And then I leave that checked, and then the next Thursday is going to be clean inside the microwave and oven and refrigerator. And then I mark that off, and so on and so forth. And then Friday is more of our quarterly deep cleaning tasks. So that's changing out the air vents, washing the walls, organizing different rooms, rotating seasonal items, deep cleaning the carpets and the rugs. Those kinds of things are on the Friday quarterly one. So Fridays, we actually don't plan to homeschool. We're going to do Monday through Thursday. Friday, I would like to do a homeschool field trip every week. And then Saturday, a family trip every week. So that way we can maximize our time here in Hawaii. That's kind of my plan for that. So that is my cleaning checklist. Next, I'm going to show you our library where we're keeping all of our homeschool stuff. We're calling it a library because we realized when we moved here how many books we have, which is such a blessing. And I didn't know where to put them all. And my husband was going to use this room for all of his military gear, but I was like, I need a space to put all these books because I want them to be out because I want the boys to use them. And so we turned it into, I was calling it like a homeschool closet, and he was like, no, this is a library. So you are going to be the first to get to see, because I have not shown this to anybody, our official library in our new house. And then after that, I will show you, I'll show you kind of our plan for how we plan to transform or to bring that stuff from that area downstairs each day. So let's go do that. Okay, so this is our master room. Coming out of our master, this is my little office space. So it's not ideal that it's out in the open, but that is what we had available. So this is my little office space. That's why I was recording in my bedroom. And then this here in this hallway is our library. So we have bedrooms and bathrooms over here, and then we have our little library. So I am so excited about this. We have my husband and I's books here, and I've organized them with like Bibles and then seminary books that I have. And then we have, this is all discipleship and church books. This is like books based on like emotion. They're all faith-based books, but this one is about just different emotions that you're going through, anger, overwhelm, those kinds of things, and what scripture says about those. This shelf is just all books that just are related to faith in some capacity that didn't really have a whole bunch of them to put into a themed group. Down here, we have all of our leadership books based on faith, all of our prayer, fasting, and worship books. Down here, we have all of our marriage books and then all of our parenting books. And then at the bottom, devotions and Bible studies that we either have or have not completed. And then this little section is some of my books that just would not relate to my husband, like Fight for Female, Fight Like a Girl. Those are things that you are the girl for the job. She works his way. Not books that my husband would be interested in. So we have not read all of these, but we have read many of them. And usually my husband and I had separate libraries. So I'm excited to kind of like get to swap books and have good discussions, and I'm just so excited for it. And then over here we have, this used to be in our homeschool closet. So this is our little organizer for just different things, different tools and things we need for school. So scissors, glue and tape, stickers, ribbon and string, all of our craft supplies for just different activities that we might do. All of our paints. This is where I put all of our colored pencils and markers and all the extra writing stuff in here, erasers. And then this was in our game closet. So this is just different kids games, and adults games. It might be a little bit mixed up from the move, so I actually didn't go through that. And then up here we have, I'll explain the books in just a minute, but we have some craft activities up there that the boys got me for Mother's Day that I still need to do with them. And then all of our more like adult-based games, and not that the kids couldn't play them, but they're just more like when mom and dad have friends over, we have like a game night. That would be what we would pick from. And then all of our puzzles that we have been collecting and just didn't have time to complete. We're hoping to complete some more here. And then at the bottom is where we put the boys' games so that they had easy access to them. So we have all of their games down here. Back in the corner there, I kind of tried to hide it because I did not want them to be getting into it too much without me. But it's a lot of their like STEM activities that they would kind of need some supervision for. Like there's a volcano, there's like science experiments where things are like exploding and smoke and all of that. So I tried to hide it so that it would not be something they grab without my permission. This here is just extra homeschool supplies that we have. Scissors, some extra markers, things that didn't fit in the drawers, paper, like modeling clay, adhesive sprays, things like that that we've needed for different curriculums. These are their boxes. So this is what they're going to have each day at the table. And I think what I'm going to do is every night I'm going to come up here and grab these and set them up on the table downstairs so that everything's ready to go in the morning. I may or may not have them grab them. Like when it's time to start school, you guys go grab your stuff, bring it to the table. I'm not really sure. So that's that, but this has all of their curriculum in each of them. So they have everything that they need for their homeschool day in their box, and then they could put it back in their box at the end of the day, and we can put it away nicely. This is some more games that I forgot to share. We have all of our coloring books and pages. There's some of the paint by stickers and some more coloring books here. These are more activity book focused, so like drawing or word searches, some other leftover like airplane stuff that we got, doodle books, craft paper, those kinds of things. These books are sports related or superhero related. Back there are just special books that I will never get rid of because I hope to give them to my grandkids someday. I've literally memorized them after reading them to my boys so many times. In the back there we have holiday books, so Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving, that kind of thing. These are just hard books, no specific theme. These ones I couldn't stand up with those, but those go together. In here we have the soft covered books and some of the readers. I try to keep the readers together. Dr. Seuss and Disney books, the old school ones, which I love. And then bigger, like these are some of the old cardboard books that my first grader might still read. And then we have some of the longer like bedtime story type of books in here. These are the different Bibles outside of the ones that they have in their school box or at their bedside. Some extra Bibles and devotionals that we've done with them. These are all of our Christian-based books on just different topics, the commandments, and just different books we've gotten over the years that are faith-based. This is all of our animals and insects and things like that in this little section. This is more of my husband's, but it's military-focused books. I actually thought about reading some of these with the boys in the years to come to just have as like a read aloud that we do as a family where we're reading about like grace under fire as letters of faith in times of war. It looks really interesting and the boys might love something like that. These are history books, things that will go along with different things that we study in history. And then this is my homeschool shelf. So I have all of the books that I've kind of assigned to the boys or sets of books up here. And that's where I will keep them just so I can keep them together as they get older. I can pass them down. So we have lots of different ones from kindergarten all the way to 5th grade now. And then different chapter books that my oldest has read or started reading. So we have the Boxcar Children, Bear Grylls, Tuttle Twins, The Secrets of the Hidden Scrolls, the Little House on the Prairie series, other read-alouds back there. This is one of our apologetics courses that we're doing is this one. It's really fun, actually. Another read-aloud that we can do. Another read-aloud here. Those actually need to go with the history one, not the Tom Sawyer, but that does. But put this up here with the read-alouds. And then we have a typing 2 curriculum that we're not quite into yet, and then just different sciences and different histories that we will get to, whether it be this year or in the years to come. So this is our library. I love it so very much. So excited about it. It turned out so cute. It's not like super fancy, but it's just incredible how much we have gathered over the years and all of the family time and activities that we will get to do through all of this stuff over in the years to come. Okay, and the last thing I want to talk with you about is kind of just how I go about scheduling work into the time frame that I've given myself for work. Because if you're a business owner or if you are somebody who kind of can create your own schedule, you might look at my schedule and be like, how do you cram all of the work that you need to do into that small time frame each and every day? So the first tool that I use is my tool that I created. It's the Finding Freedom Planner. This is also where I plan out all of our homeschool, which is why I wanted to bring it into this video as well. So every week there is a weekly spread where I help you to tie God's word with your memory verse of the week, spending time in his word, spending time in prayer. There's a Freedom 5 checklist here at the bottom. And this is where I am helping you to take your time with God and your goal setting and your planning with God and bringing it into every aspect of your life so that it's not separate. I don't ever want my relationship with the Lord to be separate from what I'm doing, but I want it to be what everything is filtered through. And so with this planner, my heart in creating it was to help you to do that. So in the beginning pages of it, I show you exactly how I plan out my goals, how I plan out my days, how I plan out my weeks, how I structure things to get it all in, how I plan it out with God of all, because He is in control of it all and I am under His will and the things that He is calling me to. So with that being said, there is each day, or each month rather, there's a goal setting page that breaks down all of your goals. You have your prayer requests. There's a devotion that I wrote for each week, a notes page. I'm trying not to share too much personal information. You have your monthly calendar spread, and then you have your weekly spreads. So this is my weekly spread for the week that I haven't filled out yet because it's for this coming week where we're starting homeschool. But this is where I plan out my week, and I will do a video of me doing that this weekend so that you can see it. I'll end this video with that so you can kind of see how I plan out my week. But I take my daily schedule that I shared with you in the beginning, and I kind of plug things into that. So there may be some changes in things. For instance, I already know this coming Tuesday, I have the maintenance crew for our housing area coming here from 12 to 5. It was an appointment I couldn't prevent. They had to come and they have to do some maintenance. And they called and said that's when they're coming. So Tuesday from 12 to 5, that's right in the middle of me ending homeschool but starting my work day. That's really going to put a damper in things. So I already, for the first week of homeschool, have to kind of plan things out a little bit differently. But I can adjust my work schedule knowing that that's happening. And so I have my ideal routine. I don't know where I put it. Here it is. I have my ideal daily rhythm, but obviously on Tuesday, that's going to look a little different come 12 o'clock. And so instead of saying, well, there goes the whole day, I can instead say, what could I get done while they're here? What can I move around to make it kind of fit so that I could still get all the things done that I want to get done, but just at different times of the day. And so there's just an adjustment phase that you have to have. Like, God is not calling us to a life of chains in time management and productivity. Like, He wants to give us freedom in that. But there's also a lot of good things that come out of planning as well. So anyways, but I'll show you kind of how I plan out my week. And then down here in the notes section each day is where I put in the lessons that I'm going to be doing. And then once we complete them, I check them off so that I know I had them done. And then I have a homeschool record. So I literally use this planner for everything, from my prayer requests of like what I'm praying for, my goals, my memory verses of the week, my quiet time, my exercise planning. Everything is in one to-do list, all of it, because I wanted to have an all-in-one tool where I can bring my faith and everything else in my life into one place. So that is the Finding Freedom Planner. And I love it so much. So like I said, I'll show you at the end of this video kind of how I worked that through. The next thing that I wanted to show you was the software system that I use. It's totally free. It's called Asana, and it is how I plan out my actual work tasks months in advance so that I don't have to be stressed when I'm doing all of the different things that I'm doing, because I have a plan for when I'm going to do it and how it's going to work. So I'm going to show you that next. I'm going to flip the camera around, turn on my computer, and show you what that looks like on the back end. Okay, so this is the back end of Asana. It's A-S-A-N-A, you can see up here. And I have different projects based on the different areas of my life. So I have a podcast that I want to record and plan for. So I have a color. It's gray for podcast, blue for Finding Freedom, purple for personal or family things that I'm working on or need to remember, pink for YouTube, and then green is my membership community that I host, a Bible study membership community every month. And so I have color codes so I kind of know what I'm working on and when. And then the white is just extra stuff, or kind of my plan that I'm going to be implementing this year and how I'm going to fit all of the work I need to do in without feeling scatterbrained. So last year what I was finding is I was a little bit scattered with what I was doing each day. Like I was sitting down and I was ready to work, but like some days I was like, I need to record an episode and I need to write a script and I need to get the membership stuff sent out. And I had so many different things. And I was like, I need to have this year where I have specific days that I have specific tasks and also specific weeks that I'm working on specific things. So for instance, over here for Sunday the 14th, which is this coming weekend, this is telling me that my weekly focus for this week, the 15th on, is going to be on membership prep for the next month. So I'm going to be prepping and planning for my next Bible study that I'm going to be starting on on October 6th with my membership community. The study is going to be on the power of spiritual disciplines. Really excited about it. I will put the link for all of the things I've been sharing about in the show notes so that you can check them all out and see what it's all about. But my focus this week is going to be on the membership. So you're going to see a lot of green this week because of that. Now you also see a lot of pink because there's also an editing and a scheduling day. So let me backtrack. Weekly focus, membership prep. The next week, my weekly focus is kind of catching up. Whatever I'm behind on, I'm going to move into this week. So for instance, this week that we're in currently where I'm recording this, I did not get all of my podcast episodes and YouTube episodes recorded for the coming weeks. And so I have moved them all to my catch-up week so that as soon as the catch-up week starts, I can start working on it. So then the week after that would be membership enrollment. So this is when I'm going to be focusing on marketing my membership, talking about it, being in my inbox a lot to get women who are wanting to join into the membership so that we can start on the 6th. The next week after that, my weekly focus again is membership because I'm going to be launching that new week. So I'm going to have a lot more behind the scenes helping women get set up in that. Aunt Flo visit is my time of the month. I put that in here so I have an idea of what to expect and I could plan my work around that a little bit because you tend to be more tired. But I have kind of that flow, and then these just automatically repeat, which is what I love about this system. So I have it set where every month this will repeat on the first Sunday of the month because I start the membership the first Monday of every month. So the first Sunday, it's going to tell me, like, once I check this off, it's going to move to the next month and it'll already be assigned. So I don't have to think about what I'm going to be doing each week for work. I already know because I've pre-assigned it to myself essentially. So then once I have my weekly plans of what I'm going to focus on each week, I'm then moving into, okay, what am I going to do every day? So ideally, this would all be green. I would not have as much pink, but I'm a little bit behind in my YouTube recordings right now because we're moving. So I have to play catch up a little bit. So this week, Monday would be my writing day. So I would be working on getting the study guide written for the membership for this coming month. I would be working on the workbook, like getting it all put into the workbook. I'd be working on editing the membership site and putting in the content to show what the membership's going to be about. This day would be my recording day. Actually, I don't know why it's not over there. This is my recording day where I'm recording all of the membership videos, all of the teachings that I do on the different passages we're studying. I do my teachings one a week, so there's 4 teachings I need to record, and I plan to record them on that day. This is the podcast episode that's going to launch, so I know that I need to market that a little bit, and then I'm going to do a recording for YouTube again because I'm trying to catch up on just kind of finding our new routine and as a day in the life video. So I have recording on this day. This is recording as I'm doing things, I'm kind of just taking you along with my day. So it's not as much tax. I could still focus on the things I need to focus on, but I'm also taking you along on the journey here on YouTube. Same thing for Tuesday. And then Wednesday is my editing and scheduling day. So again, this actually needs to be moved over. So on Wednesday, my focus for my 2 to 3 hours of work is editing, doing graphics, uploading and scheduling all of the videos that I've just recorded and written in these 2 days here. So now I have all of those scheduled. And then this day, I'm going to start working on content. So I need to have content that goes with the membership study. So what do my launch posts look like? What does my marketing look like for the membership or for whatever I'm launching or working on that week? And then this is a recording that I'm going to do that day for YouTube as well. And then over here on Friday, I am only working in the mornings on Fridays from 6 to 8 a.m. because like I said, we're not doing school those days. So I'm going to be working only in the mornings, and that's just going to be writing time. So I'm not going to be recording at 6 in the morning in my office space or just at all because I won't be ready for the day. So that'll be when I'm doing more of the back end work, the admin tasks of things that need to get done, again, for the membership. And then the next week, if my focus was on, the podcast ones aren't going to be there, but for instance, we'll take you up here. For all of the podcasts, these newsletters and all of this would be a Friday task. Now, I'm behind right now, so just keep that in mind, but all of this would be moved over. So essentially what I'm trying to show you is my whole month is planned out work-wise with what I'm doing. And as soon as I check something off, I'll check off this writing day right here. As soon as I check it off, it comes down here and it appears on the next day. So that I don't have to think about, oh yeah, what do I do on Mondays? I just know that this tells me that Monday is my writing day, and I don't have to think about it. I plan it ahead, and then I'm done. I also plan out all of my YouTube and my podcast episodes ahead of time. I plan out my membership ahead of time, so I'm usually about 6 to 8 months ahead in what I'm going to be filming for each week, so that I can just start planning ahead on those things. So you could see I have a lot of episodes. I think I sat down and planned throughout the whole year. Well, not the whole year. I guess I went to January. The whole rest of this year, I planned out with content for my podcast, and then YouTube, I actually went ahead and just planned all the way through. I remember doing this one all the way through to the summer, because I had just a day where I had a lot of ideas and things that I wanted to record and share with you guys. So I just mapped it all out for you, and I have a whole fun plan that I'm actually really excited about that'll come in the new year, and we'll talk more about that later. But this is the planning system I use. This is how I organize my work so that I can show up in those 2 hours and I know exactly what I'm doing in that time frame. I have a few things I need to check off each day, and that's what I'm focusing on. As a working homeschool mom, as a work-at-home mom in general, work-at-home anybody, there are a lot of distractions in the house, which is why I need to be very laser focused on what I'm doing throughout the day and how I'm doing it with the Asana, because then there's less time for me to be like, oh, well, let me just do this load of laundry, or oh, let me just clean up this. Like I have a time slot for when I do those things, so that when I need to show up and work, it's not, oh, I need to show up and work, but I got to do those things. It's no, now is my work time, and later is when I'm going to focus on the laundry or whatever it might be. So when you plan out your day like that, it helps you to be more efficient with your time, because you know in your head already that it's already laid out. Like you already have a time where you're going to get that done. But right now, this needs to be your focus. And yes, sometimes you can switch that up and you might have to, and that's okay. But for the most part, you show up each day knowing what to expect, what you're doing, how you're doing it, and you're getting all your stuff done because you've planned backwards and made it possible for you to work ahead and get things done. So I typically work about a month ahead. So if I'm recording YouTube content, you usually wouldn't see this video for a month later. Like I would be recording it, and then a month later it would be posting on my YouTube channel. And same with my podcast and my membership and all of that. I work ahead so that when life happens, because it does, or when vacations come, because they do, I'm not scrambling. I'm already ahead, so I just keep working at the pace that I'm at. I could take some time off if I need to, and then I'm good to go. So those are my tips for working as a homeschool mom and what that looks like. I want to make sure I didn't have anything else that I wanted to talk with you about for this. So we did homeschool routines and schedule, how I plan ahead for the year, charts and checklists. I didn't show you the new homeschool room, but it's literally just my dining room table, and I don't even have anything in there other than the dining room table and a carpet or a new rug that I bought. I do plan to buy some sort of buffet so that I have some drawers and stuff, and that would be where I would stick the boys' homeschool boxes or whatever you want to call them. But there's nothing to really show you at this point. So you'll see that in the next video, which is going to be the day in the life of our first day of homeschool. And then the next video after that, I forget what it's going to be. So it's already planned out though, you know, because you just saw. So anyways, I hope this video has been helpful. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments below. I will put the link to the free resources tab on my website where you can download all of these sample checklists. Obviously they're mine, so they may not totally apply to you, but you can download them and have them as an idea for how you can create your own. You can use exactly what I do if you'd like to. That's up to you. But just get to planning and make sure that you have a plan going into it. The Bible talks about working with diligence and not being lazy, and that is a goal that I want to just continue to fulfill, and I want to teach my kids, and I think it's really helpful. So I will put the links to all of these down in the show notes. I will also put the link to the Finding Freedom planners so that you can check those out. We're going to be relaunching those on October 15th for the next year, so you can check out the planners and the journals. What else? I'll put any links for, I don't know what else I said that I was, the Ladder app. I will share a link for that. I'll send all the links. I'll put them all down below. So again, thank you for watching. I will see you very soon in my next video, and make sure that you give this video a thumbs up, like, subscribe, send me a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you like this type of video, and I will see you very soon in the next one. Bye, guys.